All right, let's talk about something that feels like a real-life superpower. Today, we're going to break down exactly how you can learn any new skill so fast and so effectively that it honestly feels like you're cheating the system.
Come on, admit it. Haven't you ever wished you could just download a skill? Snap your fingers and bam, you've instantly mastered it. It's like this universal fantasy, right? Just plugging knowledge straight into your brain.
Maybe for you it's ripping a guitar solo, or confidently ordering your morning coffee in perfect Spanish, or maybe just finally understanding what everyone's talking about with AI. Because in the world we live in now, learning new stuff isn't just a cool hobby. It's basically a survival skill. But here's the crazy part. Most of us were never actually taught how to do it.
Okay, so let's get right into the thick of it. The real problem, the reason so many of us struggle, is that the way we were taught to learn in school is, well, it's just broken for learning skills in the real world.
Just think back to school for a second. We all learned how to cram for a test, right? You stuff your brain with facts, you dump it all out on the exam paper, and then it's gone. Poof. That's just temporary memorization. But real learning, that's totally different. It's the stuff that becomes automatic, like riding a bike or typing without looking. You don't even have to think about it. Your body just knows.
Okay, so here's probably the single biggest trap we all fall into. Input overload. We think that if we just watch one more tutorial, read one more book, or highlight one more article, it'll all just sink in. But let's be honest, watching 100 hours of cooking shows doesn't make you a Michelin star chef.
And that right there brings us to the most important mental switch you gotta flip. You have to go from being a passive consumer of information to an active participant. You don't learn by watching from the sidelines, you learn by getting in the game.
I absolutely love this idea. Learning is a contact sport. You can read every single book ever written on how to swim, you can watch videos, you can understand the physics of it, but you will never, ever learn to swim until you jump in the pool and start flailing around. You have to get your hands dirty. Okay, so if you're going to jump in, where do you even start? You can't do everything at once. Well, that's where this little secret weapon comes in handy. It's called the 80-20 rule, or the Pareto principle.
Now, what's so cool is how this applies to pretty much any skill you can think of. It means about 80% of your progress will come from just 20% of the things you could possibly learn. So, for a language, forget the dictionary. Just focus on the most common 1,000 words. For guitar, master the handful of chords that show up in almost every popular song. Your job is to find that critical 20% and ruthlessly ignore the rest, at least for now.
All right, so you've found your 20%. Now what? How do you actually get that stuff to stick in your brain? Well, this isn't about grinding harder for more hours. It's about training smarter. And there are 3 powerful ways to do it.
And it all comes down to these 3 core brain workouts: active recall, spaced repetition, and deliberate practice. Let's quickly break them down.
First up is active recall. This is the total opposite of just rereading your notes over and over. Instead, you close the book and you force your brain to pull the information out from memory. And it's gonna feel hard, but that's actually the whole point. That feeling of struggle, that's your brain building muscle. It's the difference between just staring at the dumbbells and actually picking them up and doing the reps.
Next up, space repetition. Okay, let's just say it. Cramming is a total lie. Sure, it might work for 24 hours, but then it's gone. A much smarter way is to review what you've learned in shorter bursts over a longer period of time. The best way to think about it is like you're clearing a path in a dense forest. The first time you go, it's tough, but every time you walk that same path again, it gets clearer and easier to travel.
And that brings us to the third one, deliberate practice. This is where the magic really happens. This is where you stop just doing the things you're already good at and you intentionally focus on your weakest spots. It means practicing the ugly stuff, the uncomfortable stuff. If you're learning to draw, stop drawing that same cartoon face you mastered in middle school. Force yourself to draw hands over and over again until they don't look like weird claws anymore. That's where the real growth is.
So those 3 techniques are like your engine, but an engine needs a car around it to actually go anywhere. And that's where your environment, and maybe most importantly, your mindset come into play.
Yeah, you can think of all these things as the support system, the whole ecosystem that makes your learning thrive. We're talking about things like trying to teach what you learn, making it a game, and of course, getting rid of distractions, getting enough sleep, and having the right mindset. Let's just touch on a few of the biggest game changers here.
You want to know if you really understand something? Try to teach it to someone else. The second you try to explain it, you're forced to organize your ideas, and you immediately see where the holes in your knowledge are. And here's a super simple trick. Just pull out your phone, open the camera, and explain the idea to it. You don't have to show anyone.
The act of explaining out loud is what cements it in your brain.
Let's just be brutally honest for a second. Your phone is probably the #1 enemy of deep learning. This idea of multitasking, it's a myth. Your brain just can't do it. When it's time to learn, you gotta go into lockdown mode. Put the phone on silent, close all those extra tabs. You need to give your brain the focused, quiet space it needs to actually do the work.
You know, we tend to think of sleep as just shutting down for the night. But when it comes to learning, it's actually prime time. While you're sleeping, your brain is working overtime. It's filing away all the important stuff from the day, strengthening those neural pathways we talked about, and basically cleaning house. Pulling an all-nighter to cram is literally the worst thing you can do for your memory.
And all of this, seriously, all of it, hinges on this one last thing, which might be the most important piece of the entire puzzle, your mindset. If you walk around telling yourself, ugh, I'm just bad at this, guess what? You will be. But if you can adopt a growth mindset, if you can just add one tiny 3-letter word to that sentence, it changes everything. I'm not good at this yet. That one little word opens the door to everything.
Okay, so let's put it all together. Here is your brand new learning playbook, the highlight reel. Stop just consuming, start producing. Force your brain to recall information. Spread out your practice sessions. Find that vital 20%. Try to teach what you learn. Let your brain rest. And above all else, believe that you have the ability to get better.
So, I really want to leave you with this one thought. If you've ever felt stupid or slow or like you just can't learn something, it's not you. You're not bad at learning. You've never been bad at learning. You were just using the wrong instruction manual. But now you know how.
So there you have it. The instruction manual is right here. The tools are in your hands, which really only leaves one question. What incredible new skill, what personal superpower are you going to learn first?